If you just watched season 2, episode 2 of The Last of Us and you're having a hard time processing things, you're in the right place. I've beaten the game 12 times, so let's talk through it all, and I'll get to the bottom of what you're feeling. The first thing I want to comment on is how epic the zombie army was attacking Jackson. In the game, you never really see that many zombies or infected bulked up like that, hoarded up. And it was nice for HBO to give us a big flex as to what they could pull off. And in a way, this feels like it's righting a wrong for Game of Thrones, the long dark, the long night, the long epic battle that was supposed to take place, which was merely squashed in one episode. I feel like they gave us something that was visible and terrifying, like the zombie hive mind in their universe of The Last of Us is scary to witness. They have a goal of eradicating humanity by taking them over and infecting them. Cordyceps is weird like that, man, and it's scary to think about what would actually happen. But that was amazing for a multitude of reasons, though. First of all, Tommy, he was given his flowers that he desperately needed to be given. In the games, Tommy is referenced, as Joel's brother. It's hinted at they've had to do some horrible things, but we've really never seen his skill set come out other than when he's hunting down Abby's friends. Get more on that later. But it's hinted he's got military training and all this stuff in the show, and I like that they gave him his flowers and showed what he was actually capable of, because when Tommy has to leave Jackson in The Last of Us 2, the game, Maria implies that you'll be leaving Jackson vulnerable if we give you the manpower that you need to make this happen. And there's not really been any indication that Jackson's even been in any sort of duress ever, other than Raiders. The Raiders, whenever you're trying to work on the dam and get the electricity turned back on. So it's not really shown how important Tommy's role was in this town, or Maria's. Maria's just kind of came off in the game as kind of like really cold, hard, like no nonsense, like, no, I'm not funny at all. I'm just serious all the time leader. And now we've got to just see some really, really much needed elaboration on their drive for keeping Jackson safe. What they're invested in, and them having a kid brings much more gravity to the scenario. So that was maybe one of the best zombie sequences that I could recall, and I've seen all of them. As a matter of fact, I'm about to publish a zombie book, but I'll be covering that later. This is not about that today. I'm just so pleased with that. They made all the infected scary, and they made all of the infected a real danger to the people of Jackson. The dogs joining the fight was so epic. The flamethrower sequence with Tommy fighting the bloater, God, it was so rewarding to watch. So yeah, I'm a nerd. I'm a huge zombie buff, and that was just pure cinema in the highest form. So yeah, I could go on and on, but the elephant in the room is what takes place up at the Baldwin house. Yeah, if you've got this far and you haven't seen the episode yet, you might want to stop the video. We're going to talk about the big death. We're going to talk about Abby killing Joel with a shotgun in a golf club. I waited to do any type of video review about this because of it is kind of painful to watch this character die again. I beaten the game so many times, I'm desensitized. And as a matter of fact, while recording this video, my wife is actually watching the episode. I watched it myself last night because where I'm a live streamer, people tend to drop spoilers in my chat, and she understands sometimes I need to watch it immediately. So that way my first interaction with what happens with it is just uninterrupted and just in its rawest form. So she's watching it now, and I can't wait to hear her reaction. But a lot of people on the internet have been complaining about the delivery of how this happened. Notable citations of websites like IGN was knocking points about how they kind of botched this. I'm in a disagreement with everybody that is feeling this way, because in the game, after playing it so many times, they don't get all the things that they could get off their chest before doing the deed. I'm not saying that you have to have a big confession, but Abby got to get what was off of her chest, and Joel got to say something that we all thought for the years and years that this game's been out, that Joel saved her. I saved you. Like, yeah, and it still wasn't enough to turn off the vengeance monster in Abby's brain. And she told how many people he actually killed: 18 soldiers and a doctor, or 17 soldiers and her dad, the doctor. And a lot of the things that didn't need implied were left out, like that Ellie was immune. They didn't care. They wanted to just kill Joel. Something else that doesn't need to be said: the Fireflies ended because of Joel. And she asked the question, when was the last time that you saw fireflies? And he tells them where he murdered them. And it was very well put together. A lot of things that were unsaid got to be said. And we got introduced to Abby in a much better sense than the game. The game plays out kind of like a Tarantino movie, but in a way that I think the reception of it was so bad because it was hard to read Abby's point of view in any other light than an antagonist. When at the end of the day, most of the people in this universe are all anti-heroes. Joel being the king of anti-heroes for this world, considering he saved Ellie because he could right a wrong that happened to his daughter Sarah, and because she wasn't given a choice in that situation on whether or not she wanted to sacrifice herself for the cure. So they would have, slaughtered Ellie for that cause. So he slaughtered the Fireflies. We covered that in the last video that I did. And I will say, I'm happy to eat my words that Joel did die. I was worried that they couldn't pull it off. They did. They nailed it. Joel telling her to shut the F up and do it already. Like he was ready to die for this. Now, more on what he didn't say. He didn't say anything else that would have put Ellie in danger or the people of Jackson in danger. He knew that they were just there for him and they were gone. He had accepted his fate. But the thing that makes this plot so much better, the things that they righted, the wrongs that they righted with this, is the fact that, like, I always felt like Dina's involvement on being dragged across country in The Last of Us 2 was just so much of a reach. Like, fresh girlfriends, Ellie and Dina, and you mean to tell me that's enough for you to just go across the country and murder people? It just wasn't depicted for us that there was that much of a buy-in. Yeah, you like Joel, but why? The fact that Dina gets drugged and taken by force to, for that to happen is a major traumatizing thing to endure. Like, you got put to sleep so that you wouldn't see or interrupt Joel getting tortured, beaten to death. That's a huge buy-in. And just the way that Jesse is, his relationship is way more connected in this show, even though they don't even really get any screen time. maybe later on in the episode. I mean, this is just episode 2, or maybe later on in the season. But the way that Jesse's character has already been portrayed as like a leader for Jackson, like, of course he's going to have some say in this. He's going to have some motives. So, yeah, that was a very much fixed thing. And because he was trying to be with Dina to figure out how to fix things with Ellie. And that's going to make it that much more tragic whenever all this comes back out into play. Yeah, I know it sucks that Joel's dead. But you got to think about what he did and that he would do it all over again and die for Ellie again. That is the thing about good guys and bad guys. Good guys will save the world and sacrifice somebody. And bad guys will sacrifice everyone to save, whoever they want. As long as it's right in their mind, they'll do it. I messed that quote up horribly, but let's not talk about that. But he would literally throw away the world just to give her that chance of life that she wouldn't have, because he's righting a wrong for him. That's where his virtue was. So I'm so pleased with Pedro Pascal's performance, and the fact that he died worrying about Jackson is also tragic. Now, going back to Tommy getting his flowers, showing what a killing machine he could be, the way that this show is going to escalate all the way to the rest of the end of this is going to be so, so nice. It's going to be senseless slaughter. I'm not even advocating for murder or anything, but let's be honest, man. If the game was depicted one way, the show is probably going to be that much more graphic. It's HBO. They never pull punches. There's one thing that's always guaranteed in HBO's programming. It's violence and wieners. Violence and wieners. It's like guaranteed. I don't know whose wieners we're going to get to see yet, but there's going to be some violence. That needs to be on a shirt. Anyway, I'm really pleased with the episode. Now, the only things that are left that we haven't discussed is all of the people from the Wolf Squad, the people left over from the Fireflies. There was some people missing. The girlfriend and the boyfriend, and dude getting cut with a knife was put on to Manny. Manny got cut with a knife instead of the other guy, the guy with a hat. So, yeah, there weren't as many. And honestly, they didn't even really have lines in the game, so they were kind of filler. But we had Mel, Owen, Abby, chick who gets beat to death with the pipe at the hospital. Sorry if you haven't seen it yet. And Abby. And I'm wondering how Owen's pregnancy with Mel is going to get played out. There's just so many things, but we're going to cover all that in another video. I hope that you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but if I had to rate this unedited, me talking about this for 11 minutes, if I had to rate this episode, I'd give it honestly a 10 out of 10, because they passed my expectations tenfold, and they gave us something that was truly a marvel for HBO. So thank you, HBO, for making that work. And they've done a good job on kind of showing both sides of the coin with this take on The Last of Us 2 versus the game. If they can keep playing and showing both sides of this, I think we have a shot in calming some of the animosity for the fans of Joel. I just hope that people know this is my favorite game of all time, and I'm going to be very critical on them if they mess up. So I'm with you. But Joel dying, you get to feel things that otherwise you don't get to feel. You get to feel loss, a real loss. But you got to realize this guy made choices that he did because he was a badass, and he wanted things for Ellie. He wanted Ellie to have a life, even if this world is complete garbage. He wanted her to have a chance. Even if she would have saved humanity, he wanted her to have a chance because that choice was taken away from her, and that was what he stood on. And he died for that. And he would do it all over again. Just remember that. So, I I'm Team Joel as well, but at the end of the day, I'm Team Last of Us. So I just love these dystopia worlds where people are pushed to the whatever it takes to survive. Because while I never want to see us in that type of world in society, I think human nature that we could do that if we had to because of what we had to survive to get to an established form of society. Yeah. Okay. I'll take my tinfoil hat off now, guys. I want to plug, I'm going to be releasing a book this month. It's currently in the last edits and it's about to get its copyright and be published on Amazon. The book is called The Second Death. If you're watching this months from now, it is a zombie novel. It's 70,000 words, and I'm really proud of what I've accomplished here, and I can't wait for you to read it. But if you have any questions, comments, please put them in the comments below. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. We're going to do another follow-up video after the other episodes. So thanks for your time.